In China, there's a breakfast food you typically find on the street. It's called 鸡蛋灌饼. 鸡 means chicken. 蛋 means egg. 灌 is like to pour or to dunk. Bing is like flatbread. It's like Indian naan. Everybody knows what is naan, but I think everybody should also know what is a bing. Chinese naan is a bing. So if you ask me, I think the English name for 鸡蛋灌饼 should be called egg dunk bing. Because I live in a very white city, Portland, Oregon. It's not as diverse as New York and Los Angeles. I have nowhere to access 鸡蛋灌饼. So I want to try to make it myself. The recipe I used is from Xiao Gao Jie's recipe.
大家好，我是小高姐。今天我们来做鸡蛋灌饼。
She is very well regarded in the Chinese cooking community, and I really liked her instruction styles, and her videos are very detailed, and I learned greatly from her videos, and I think with her help I can even pass the Chinese citizenship test anyway. The make of 鸡蛋灌饼 is you first make a balloon using flour, which I think was quite impressive. Then you poke a hole and pour eggs into the hole. Being is filled with eggs, and it sounds like very tasty. And especially when I watched her doing that, it just looks so impressive and makes me so excited, and I want to see if I can do it myself. So let's begin. 250 grams AP flour, 150 gram of water, 1/8 of teaspoon of yeast, 1 tablespoon oil. Mix, mix, mix. The first 2 days for me was actually quite embarrassing. My first attempt, I didn't know how to knead a dough properly. Like how to properly incorporate water and flour together. I think my dough is very dry compared to hers. I thought the resting will solve the problem, but it didn't. I don't think this looks right. My dough is very dry, like a desert. To my defense though, where I grew up, the region of China is in the southeast. The primary crop from that region is rice. So I grew up on a heavily rice-based diet, so I didn't get to work with dough as much. Plus also I was a single child, so I didn't have to cook much growing up. That's another story. The dough was a disaster. I didn't knead it long enough. All right, I will try to add a little more water in it and just see how it goes. Now it feels too wet. But luckily that Luke came over to rescue my dough. He just put more salt water into the dough and then knead it longer in a standing mixer. Actually, it turned into a flatbread. That was tasty. My second try, I'm gonna make a new dough. I guess you're supposed to fold it so the moisture can be evenly distributed. Okay, I think I'm getting better at this. Rest for 10 minutes. All right, this time I think the dough looks much better. Pretty smoosh. Make a hole in the middle, a donut, then cut into 6. Make them into small balls. Rest for another 5 minutes. While this is resting, we need to make yousu, which is this little thingy that we need to brush onto the dough. 2 tablespoons of flour, 1 tablespoon of oil. Stir. Time to make a bing. Pretty cute. Meow. First make it flat. Use a rolling pin to make it even flatter. How big is the question? Well, this is pretty big, I think. Then make the edge very thin, she said. Maybe it's too thin, who knows? Add some yuzu in the middle. Oops, my yuzu is not very thin. It's not thin enough. Maybe I need to add a little bit more oil. Hers is pretty runny. Okay, this looks about right to me. So brush yuzu on top of this, then fold the edges back in. Looks right. Brush on some oil. The holding part facing down, put in here. Everything going there. And we're gonna put that into the fridge so it can chill overnight. Hey guys, it's the second day. You can tell by how flat my hair is. And then now we are gonna get the chilled bean and keep our journey. I made a mistake that I forgot to cover them with plastic wraps. Oh shit, oh my goodness. That was quite embarrassing and also like a waste 24 hours for me. The next morning when I see these uncovered dough in the fridge, I was so disappointed in myself. They're completely dried up. It's like rock solid. Okay, I think I need to make a new batch. At least this time I think we're gonna be faster. Okay, this time I will not forget. Let's see what will happen if I force some procedure on this dried up dough. Oil the cutting board. If they're perfect, they're supposed to be, you know, roll into the shape of, oh, wait, what? Hold on. Okay, it broke. It broke. When I tried to force the procedures on them, they were quite hard to work with since they already lost their elasticity. Of course, it broke because, you know, our dough is compromised. It's very hard to roll them thin and flat. Now, one thing I noticed what Xiao Gao Jie did in her video was she rolled her dough very flat before cook them. I think that was one of the important key step to make a successful balloon. So yeah, that day I wasn't able to make any balloon like I wanted, and the dough was very easy to break. It's like acne wanting to pop. Rolling them very thin was actually quite difficult because there's air bubbles in the dough. You need to avoid breaking them. Otherwise, you will have a hole in the bean and they won't be able to puff up because the hot air will be leaking. Broke again. Should we try and cook it? Let's see. Never mind. I have a giant hole here. There's a giant hole, so all the air bubble is actually coming out of here. A lot of the bean still managed to puff up here and there, which was pleasant to see. I liked seeing this process of something puff up. I don't know why. Looks good. It's not like a balloon, but although they didn't turn into the balloons I wanted, they becomes more like a Xiao Bing. Really reminds me of Xiao Bing though, which is another kind of bean. Bean is important in Chinese culture. And they actually turns out quite tasty. This is dinner tonight. I foresee the whole week we're gonna just eat these. That night, Luke made kebabs for dinner. He had kebabs with these beans. And it was a very pleasant dinner. And I really enjoyed it. Day 3, third try. This time, it looks perfect. It was much easier to roll this time. This side, you can do it much more aggressive, according to her. Okay, I think this is pretty good. I think I have rolled it as thin as it should be, and now let's try to cook it. To the other side to fix the shape. It's happening. I'm so happy. I did have a beginner's luck. My first try, it puffed up like the way I wanted, and I was very stoked. Oh my god! This is the maximum. We're gonna make a hole from the side. Shit. Can you, yes, go in there, go in there. Oh, well, it's really hard to pour the egg in because the hole is very small. Make a bigger hole next time. You just need a very steady hand and knows how much liquid you are working with. You cannot be very precise of this procedure as well. Oh well, the first one Next one will be better. I got cocky because the first one, the balloon looks so perfect for me. I become very aggressive when I was rolling the dough. I want to make it as thin as possible to make the balloon as big as possible. It resulted in breaking the air bubbles left and right. Ah, this one broke. Okay, this one broke even more. The yuzu would just come out. None of them could puff up like I wanted. But you can still be able to pour the egg in because it would still create some space that you can work with, make the eggs go in. Or we can try to pour egg from the hole. It is very hard to balance thickness of the dough, not breaking the air bubbles when you're rolling them, because in a way you want to make the disc thin, but also you want to leave the air bubbles intact. Although they didn't end up to be perfect balloons, but they all turns out to be Ji Dan Guan Bing quite nicely. So I think the yuzu I made was a bit too thin, but it tastes pretty good. Even though it was not perfect, I'm glad I still get to eat this yummy food. And also, I think this one can really benefit with some 甜面酱, sweet bean sauce. You will see. It came day 4, I decided to try again because I got super obsessed making the perfect balloon like Xiao Gao Jie did. It's beautiful outside today, so I think I'm going to H Mart to pick up some 甜面酱, sweet bean sauce, and some snacks. Then keep working on this. But first, I might need to feed Pearl first because she has been complaining. It says, haha, bean sauce. Weirdest name ever. To my surprise, they don't have any 甜面酱, so I guess we'll have to go home to make something on our own. We're back, baby! I feel so dumb doing that. I studied a little more on her video and I wanted to test my theory. In her video, she said when you're rolling the vertical directions, you should be gentle, and the cross sections, you can be very aggressive. And that's exactly what she did. I was literally talking to myself these words while I was rolling the bean, like a magic spell or something. First this side, be gentle. So far so good. Then this side, be aggro, but not going all the way to the edge. The edge is always tricky, so I'm just gonna use my hand here. Not gonna be perfect rectangular shape, so we kinda just have to deal with it. And she used her hands on the edge in the video, so because most yuzu and air bubbles are on the edge. But it's still very hard to do because you kind of control the pressure kind of precisely to do so. All right, let's try. I thought it looked real cool when she did that in the video. No leaking this time. Happy, happy. Puffing up nicely, I hope. Okay, there's a hole. That day, I still end up breaking 5 doughs. Fuck. Whew, I break again. Okay, what is wrong? I just couldn't make as thin as she does or break it. I always break it. I was very frustrated. I got quite annoyed by myself. When I only have 1 dough left, I already failed again, so I'm not in a great mood. Okay, so I'm gonna, maybe it's not enough oil, so I just add more oil because I've been just making holes non-stop. Let's see. Oh, with oil is much better. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hold on. Did I break it? Let's see. But this one looks the most promising so far. I hope it's not a hole here. Oh my god! This one's a success! I don't know, can you see on the camera? Look! I'm quite happy. Look, I made one successfully.
Oh, really?
1 out of 6.
Can I eat the failures?
You can eat the failures. You can do a little more, but don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. This looks delicious. This is the greatest moment of my life. Let's cut this baby up. So square. I love how square you are. After 17 tries, we finally made 1 successful. So it turns out the trick is to add enough oil to the cutting board when you are rolling the dough, and also make sure there is enough oil on the surface of the dough. Once I start adding enough oil, the rolling part becomes super easy. You need to grease it up. Make a lot of sense. And by the way, here is a recipe on how to make 甜面酱. Focus. I still want to make this 甜面酱 because I think it's a must-have when you have this type of thing. But the real 甜面酱 is a fermented sauce. So I found a shortcut recipe on YouTube. Just mix flour, sugar, and some soy sauce and cook it down. It's not the real thing, but it's better than nothing. I was wondering that did I got lucky again, or did I really understand the entire technique of making 鸡蛋灌饼? So I decided to try again the next day. This time I remembered to put the plastic wrap on, add enough oil when rolling the dough, make sure controlling the rolling pressure correctly. I was able to make 3 balloons out of 6 without having a hole. No, you didn't say anything about my Bing.
Your Bing is very f***ing good this time. You're getting better and better. They were good before and now they're better.
Say it again.
They were good before and now they're better.
I've really come a long way from somebody who didn't know how to make a dough to make 3 flour balloons. I thought that was a pretty good success rate. I mean, 50% is probably still an F for a Chinese student, but we are not in China anymore. Thanks for hanging out. Please like and subscribe. I really had fun having this experience. I will be mostly posting food-related content. A lot of them will be Chinese because I'm Chinese. I know Chinese food outside China has kind of bad reputation. I don't know why, compared to Japanese, Korean food at least. I would like to share perspective because Chinese food is changing all the time. It is evolving all the time in China, and the world deserves to know what is happening. I will also be posting a lot of my cute cats because they really bring me a lot of joy. And thanks for watching. See you in my next video.